Working together to make Leon County safer. All in. All in. Woo!
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Leon County Sheriff's Office podcast. I'm Javonni Hampton, your PIO at the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and today we're joined by someone whose career has been dedicated to developing leaders and strengthening law enforcement across Florida. We have with us the one and only Captain Larry Bourdeau. Welcome.
Thank you, Javonni.
Captain Bourdeau, just a little bit about him. He brings nearly 3 decades or more of law enforcement. We'll learn so much more about him than what I have written down. But his experience ranges from being a captain in law enforcement, training, helping the next generation of deputies. Throughout his career, he served in leadership roles with the Florida Lottery, the Florida Supreme Court, the Florida Public Safety Institute, Quincy's Police Department, Tallahassee's Police Department, and now at the Leon County Sheriff's Office. And so we'll hear about his journey, what he currently does, and just all of the wonderful things that he's done. I also found out, I did a little research online, and I saw that you're a professor too at one point.
Yeah.
Awesome. Man. Yeah, so just, there's so many moving parts to personnel and sworn folks in law enforcement that people just don't know about. And so that is what the podcast is for people to get to know you, Captain Bourdeau, and also just who you are a little bit behind the badge. So let's start at the beginning. Tell us about yourself. Where did you grow up? And maybe a little bit about your childhood.
So, absolutely. And again, thanks for having me here. I have a really fond memory of my childhood. I grew up in Schenectady, New York, which is up near the capital of Albany in New York. And like I said, I had a great childhood. Did a lot of different things. I grew up in an Italian neighborhood. I attended Catholic school through 8th grade, and then went to a public high school. I ran track, ran cross country. I was an avid baseball player through high school, and just loved life. My family and I were very involved in the Knights of St. John's organization. It was there where, a long time ago, it seemed like neighborhoods were all very close. They became like cousins and family, extended family. So I grew up in that environment where I did have a big family, and we were all very close, did a lot of things together.
How big was your family?
Well, so it was my mother and father and myself and my sister, but our extended family, I had
lots
like
of cousins.
13 cousins.
Wow.
And, a lot of aunts and uncles, and we're all really close. And both sides of the family, my mom's and my dad's, we were all really close. So, together, when we all got together, it was a crowded household.
Nice. And then New York, what was it like growing up in New York? When did you leave New York, come to Florida?
Yeah, so good question. When I was about 22, I graduated from, I went to college straight out of high school. I went to a 2-year community college, Schenectady Community College. Okay. And I've always, I tried a lot of things. I was somebody who tried a lot of different jobs and was looking for the right career. And every time I would try something different, I would come back to law enforcement. I always had this draw. When I was a little kid, I would, if I saw a cop, or a firefighter, but somebody in public service, I'd want to run up to them and introduce myself and talk to them, and there was something that drew, and what I've grown to know is, the level of service that they could provide to people and the help that they provide to people from an early age. I had that draw, but growing up, you got to go out there and kind of try different things before you find the one that you were truly called for. Right. And I believe that was law enforcement. And so I graduated from Schenectady Community College, and most of the opportunities up there were selective service, which meant that you couldn't just put an application in. You had to take tests, and you had to take a test for every different jurisdiction that you potentially wanted to work in, and it was a very long, daunting process. In Florida, I had heard that, they had a lot of opportunity. It was very different. You could self-sponsor in the academy if need be. So I actually took a few weeks off my job up there and did a little tour of Florida, so to speak. I went and met Broward County Community College was the one place who, when I was making cold calls, they were like, yeah, come down here. We'll talk to you about all the... So I made an appointment with them in their academy down there and went and talked with them. After I went and visited some others that I never got a call back from, but I went and visited there. And the one theme that I saw was there was a lot of opportunity in Florida. So I made the decision to go back up to Florida, let everybody know that I'd made a decision that I was going to pursue a career in law enforcement, but I was going to do it in Florida.
Nice. And everyone's path into the profession is different based off of the conversations that I've had. And there's always usually some sort of story behind it.
Sure.
So was there a moment that just inspired you to say, this is what I'm going to do, and I think I'm going to do it for the rest of, my career journey?
So one of the jobs that I had up in New York was working for Mohawk Ambulance. And during my time up there, I had met a couple of police paramedics in Rotterdam who were police officers, but they were also paramedics. And that's how they, did their emergency medical services up there. Was they had actually police paramedics because they could typically get somewhere quicker and were already out there. So I worked with and hung out with off-duty with several of those police paramedics, and they became really good mentors to me. I did some ride-alongs, hung out with them, after work, and we did a lot of different things together. And I saw the impact that they had in the community. And no matter what I did, no matter who I shadowed, in other professions, it didn't have the profound effect on me, the tangible effect that I could actually see them making, great strides with people and the help that they were able to provide. I didn't get that strong tug with any other ride-alongs or with any other with trying other professions. So. Right. I had a long talk with two of my most cherished mentors from up there, told them what my plans were.
Right.
And they encouraged me. They said, look, if there's that much opportunity there and that is somewhere you could see yourself living, don't let us stop you. And so I did just that. And I look back on it, Javonni, and I have zero regrets.
It was the perfect decision.
It was the perfect decision.
So when you came to Florida, tell us about your journey. Where did you start? And then when did you make your way to the Leon County Sheriff's Office? So
it was an awful lot about, it was an awful lot about who you met along the way. I had some good breaks. As I said, I thought I was going to get in Broward County because they seemed like the most interested and move the quickest. But when I put all my applications out, actually, the Florida Public Safety Institute was actually the first ones to accept me. So I passed.
And you just won a great award from the Florida Public Safety Institute, right?
I did, thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Do you want to say what that award is?
I was inducted into the Law Enforcement Hall of Fame.
Nice.
That was really nice. That was a humbling experience.
Yes.
It really was.
Yes.
But yeah, it just went from there. I was accepted into the academy. I self-sponsored, so I went to the night class so that I could work during the day. And when I give counsel to trainees along the way, I often tell them everything that I did was measured. Looked like Tallahassee Police Department were going to be the first ones to pick me up, and when they did, I made sure that I got a job part-time to put myself through that actually would help me learn the roads, because let me remind you, the roads up in New York, they are very measured, and what's north and south and numbered. Down here, it's just like they're all named, right? So there was no method to how roads were named. So so I wanted to go ahead and put the extra time in to learn the roads so that I could be, you know, I could do as good of a job as I could while I was going through, you know, my training.
And then tell us about some of the positions that you've held, and how long have you been in the career?
Just shy of 30 years.
Nice.
Just shy of 30 years. And it's been a great ride. I've been on patrol. I have been a criminal investigator. I did that for approximately 7 years. I've investigated everything from a homicide to a simple assault and some property crimes as well. In supervisory or leadership positions, I've been a sergeant, I've been a lieutenant, I've been a captain. I started at the Tallahassee Police Department. I actually worked in Quincy long enough to actually retire, so I worked there for 13 years. I took what I really felt was a dream job at the academy. I love to teach, and so I was the law enforcement coordinator there for about 7 years, and had a great time. A lot of great things happened there. And then I left there and went and became the Chief Deputy Marshal at the Supreme Court. And I was recruited to go to the lottery to oversee statewide investigations with them. A lot of people don't know it, but they actually have a fully sworn law enforcement agency that by statute was created. And so we wanted to expand our footprint throughout the whole state, and was given the opportunity to do that for them. And then one of the best mentors that I've had, Sheriff Walt McNeil, came calling. And so here, when I was first hired, I was the director of reentry. And I did that for a couple of years, and then I was given the opportunity to become the captain in the training division, and thoroughly enjoyed my time there.
Was your office over in the jail at the time for reentry? For
reentry, it was. Yes, it sure was. And then came over here for training, and then I was given my next assignment was uniform patrol. And now just most recent, my assignment is the Criminal Investigation Division, Property and Financial Crimes Unit, the Crime Scene Unit, and Property and Evidence Captain. So it's been a great ride.
Going back to the training part, because you just left from there, and for those who are listening, surprisingly enough, during these conversations you have heard the last guest we had was Chief O'Brien, who also said the same thing. Just most recently, I have this new position. So as you can tell, there is a theme here. There have been some moving parts and changes, but each member is well equipped to lead the roles that they are in. And so we'll talk a little bit about your current role, but also this is the first time I've had a conversation with someone who was a supervisor in the training area. So I think the listeners may want to know, like, you know, what is that about? What does that entail when it comes to this agency?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's kind of the same concept, right? I see interactions with the community as opportunity, right? And it's the same way when you're in the training unit. So we're always going to have new people who we're hiring, and that will go through our field training program as well as our in-house program. And I see that as a huge opportunity to make sure that we are growing and supporting and mentoring our people through these processes so they can be the best deputies that they could possibly be. You know, I see it as a great responsibility, right? And it's a responsibility that I have always humbly accepted, because what greater gift can you give somebody than the gift of training and experience, and so that way they can not make the same mistakes, right? That we already know don't work, right? And that they can have a smoother, and I always say this: always leave something better than when you found it, right? So go out there and do better than I did. Go out there and do better than X, and set the bar high. Encourage people to get there, and there's no greater. I'll tell you, in law enforcement, there's no greater thing than to either have somebody in the community that unfortunately you had to arrest or take some adverse action, but they come back to you years later and thank you. And it's the same way with our recruits, right? You pour into them, you train them, you spend a lot of time with them, you mentor them, and years later you get a phone call saying, wow, I had something happen, and the first thing I thought of was what you taught me, and everything happened just right after that. Or just getting phone calls when those people that you mentored, they do something great, they win an award, or they save a life, or they do something, and they call you and they say, you know what? Thanks. Right. And again, that's just paying it forward. That's when I leave, and that time will come when I leave the profession. I want to know that I had a hand in helping make people ready to take the torch from there. Nice.
Yeah, that's really good. So after spending 3 decades in law enforcement, what are some of those memorable moments that you have that keeps you going?
So I will tell you that every letter of thank you, and I encourage the people that I mentor to do the same thing. When somebody takes the time to thank you for something, keep it. Because in our profession, it's easy, because I'll offer this before I say this. Oftentimes we're dealing with good people having a bad day. Right? There are the exceptions, but for the most part, we're dealing with good people. They're having a bad day, and they're looking to us to help. And so oftentimes we see a lot of things that collectively, once you add them all up, it can depress you a little bit, right? We see people at their worst. We've seen death. We've seen, and the frequency at which we have those, it tends to, I guess, for lack of a better term, normalize it for us. And so sometimes we can get in a dark place, or we see a lot of those negative things, and I tend to be a very happy person, and the way that I do that is I always go back to the root of why am I doing this, and what is the impact. And so I save those letters, or I journal a phone call that was made to me, and whenever it is, whenever I'm feeling down or whenever I need to pick me up, I'll go back to those letters. Wow. And it reminds me, I have something tangible to remind me that's why you're doing it.
That's inspiring. That is a good way to go about life, and to appreciate the time it takes to even thank someone, because there's so many people who even struggle with being able to open up to say thank you, even though they may need it, they may mean it, they just can't say it, or it may make them too vulnerable. So that is important.
And most of us in law enforcement, we're not in it for the thanks, but there are really good people that were going through some rough times, and when they do, I just think it's a great way to keep you grounded and remind you this is why you're doing it.
That's really good. We know that law enforcement is often viewed through different lenses, and sometimes those perceptions don't always tell the full story, similar to what you've kind of been talking about this entire conversation. What is one misconception? And if there's not one, are there misconceptions that people often have about law enforcement that you think if maybe they heard this perspective, there would be a different thought process behind it? Yeah,
and I'll tell you, Javonni, it's a complicated question, but I'll give you the short version. I think that every opportunity, or every interaction, is an opportunity, right? And when you think about officer safety, and this is something that I've taught for many years, and I believe it to my core, when we deal with people, we need to deal with people professionally. We have to believe in de-escalation whenever it's appropriate. And and we've got to have that empathetic side, because again, oftentimes we're dealing with good people having a bad day, right? And I just think that there is there's a misconception out there that all law enforcement are bad, right? And that we're not to be trusted.
Right.
And I will tell you that in my years of experience and in my experiences, the majority of our profession are great people wanting to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And, sometimes people's opinions or frustration may be unjustifiably so pointed towards law enforcement. And I would just say this, give us a chance.
Yeah.
We're human too, and I'm not saying that our profession is perfect, because we always can do better, right? And we should strive to do better. But I would tell our listeners, give us a chance. Give us a chance to help you. Trust and know that we put a lot of time and effort into making sure that they're safe, and that I take that responsibility, as I know the people that I work with take that responsibility serious as well. And I sure know that the sheriff takes that responsibility very seriously. So we spend a lot of time trying to make sure that when people come to Leon County, either to live or visit, that we make this as safe a place as possible so people can live, work, and play and enjoy the community that we're all proud to live in.
I told you all, it was the one and only Captain Bourdeau. He's always, to me, when I've had conversations with you, been able to drop just maybe one gem every time, or two or three. And so you've shared so many here in this conversation. Let's just take a quick moment to go a little bit behind the badge to Larry. Can I call you Larry?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Behind the badge, do you have hobbies? What are some things that you like to do, on your free time when you're not working?
Yeah. So, free time is it's kind of a funny concept, but,
right. Exactly.
However, you are right. So behind the badge, I love cruising. I love cruising. And I do like to read. I like to read. I like to cruise.
Favorite
and I
cruise
love
line?
spending time. Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean, yes.
For sure.
I just did a Royal Caribbean cruise for the first time in April.
Did you?
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
It was great. I went to the Cayman Islands.
Nice.
So it was nice. It was a 3-day trip, but it was good. I'm going to try to do a 7-day. See if I can survive. Oh,
you can survive.
Yeah.
Oh, you can survive. It's absolutely wonderful. And family time. I've got 2 beautiful kids. They are older. However, just any time that we get to spend together, and they have friends and, just getting us all together and doing what I used to do in my childhood, which was, getting people together and just having fun and fellowship. And that's,
is your house the gathering place, barbecues?
Yeah, I think you could. I think you could say that.
That's nice. That's nice. All right, Captain Bourdeau, we have had an amazing conversation. At the end, I don't tell people this, but there is something we like to call the speed round. Now, if you have been a faithful follower of the podcast, you may be very prepared for what the speed round is.
If you could only see my face.
Exactly. It always shocks everyone. They're like, uh-oh, wait. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to just ask you a couple of questions, and you say the first answer that comes to mind. These are pretty much your everyday choices and thought processes that, without you thinking about it, basically what would you choose?
Okay.
Nice and friendly.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. We are doing the speed round with Captain Bourdeau. Ready? And first question. Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Patrol or classroom?
Classroom.
Favorite law enforcement movie or TV show?
Oh, Landman.
Landman. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Favorite vacation spot?
Caribbean.
Corrections or patrol?
Patrol.
What's one piece of gear you never leave home without when you come to work?
My good attitude.
Oh, that is a very nice one. What's your favorite way to spend a Saturday?
On a cruise.
If you weren't in law enforcement, what career do you think you would have chosen?
Ooh. It would likely have been something in healthcare.
Nice. And what's one leadership trait every deputy should have?
Empathy.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Captain Bourdeau. Thank you for the time of joining us. You answered the questions great. You didn't pass on any of them. You did answer that one question about the TV show. So that's really good. We appreciate everything that you do to just help prepare the next generation of deputies and for your continued commitment to public service.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I had a good time.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Captain Bourdeau is all in.
Working together to make Leon County safer.